the tongues around presenting them. And it's up to you whether you want to answer questions 1 to 10 or get on some list.
I don't mind really. I mean, maybe the audience will tell me what to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which do you prefer? 1 to 10 or 1 to 10? Okay, so it's 1 to 10, and we're far enough.
That's a dangerous president.
I do sort of share it just like what you do, right?
There might be some common themes coming up. I want to go back to the beginning.
Don't start. Can I stop you for a second? This is a bag, and this is a standard collection.
Oh, okay.
I stopped at basically said, so start there and pass it. Don't be able to speak about it.
Okay, we can start again now.
Not quite so that's far back to the beginning.
Okay.
I just want to ask, how do you define national income?
Okay.
What's your measure? The GDP? What, there's been a lot of critique of the whole means of measurement, the national income.
Yep. Technical question for you. Then, most economists try to measure the value of the output produced in the economy by us all. They usually use the term gross domestic product, GDP, read the newspapers. Gross domestic product is the total amount of production produced in, say, the UK. That was the GDP of the UK, not what might be produced by a British company in Thailand. That doesn't count. But foreign companies producing things here will go into the GDP. Now, you can also have national income, so you can look at it 2 ways. You can look at production, or you can look at the total amount of income collected by sales and call it national income. And you can add that together. You can also take the government's income as well from taxes. You can add it, so you can either measure it in production, or in income, or even in expenditure, how much your gross domestic expenditure. So you can have GDP, GNP, and you can have GNE, or you can take out the N, because the N national includes foreign stuff. You can just have domestic production. So those are 3 ways of measuring. There is a lot of discussion about whether this really measures what's going on in the economy, because apart from measuring it whether you measure it correctly, is really the gross domestic product what we're interested in. If we're members, if we're labour, if we're working people, we want to know what our incomes are in real terms, not what the GDP of the economy is. And also that GDP can be distorted by the fact that we're extracting value from other countries in an imperialist way. And there's a big discussion both amongst Marxist economists and amongst mainstream economists about whether it's a decent measure of the size of an economy. But I have to live with what we've got. And so these figures generally try to use the official figures of GDP and GNP and national income.
The second part of my question is, I have read critiques of what I call the myth of growth. In fact, the book by the myth of growth. That there really isn't any growth, and what is considered growth is considered that because it doesn't include the social costs of the growth, nor the environmental costs.
No, you're right.
And because resources, natural resources are finite, it has to end.
Okay, well, there are 2 points there. Sorry, the first point is, does GDP include the costs? If a factory's built and it produces 100 million worth of goods, and it belches out smoke and ruins everybody else's lives, is that counted in GDP? What do you think? No, it isn't. Why would it be? Because GDP is what capitalists want to see about what's going on. They're not interested on the social welfare effects that it has. What economists in mainstream economic parts call the externalities. It's external to what's important. The externalities are not counted in the GDP, and therefore you could have a national welfare measure. Some people have attempted that, which take into account the cost of the externalities, and that will be much lower because there'll be serious costs. But from the point of view of capitalism, they're not interested in that. Because that's not interesting. They're not interested in whether it's welfare to people. It's actually, they're not interested in whether it produces more things and services that they can sell and make a profit. The GDP is what matters to them, or however well they measure it. And so the externalities get reduced. Now, are we running out of resources? the second half of your question. A lot of people say that. I'm not entirely convinced. Technology is continually both increasing the productivity and the extraction abilities we have of natural resources out of the earth. Oil, we were told, was going to run out in 1975. It didn't. Oil was going to run out in the places where we considered it, the Middle East. It hasn't. Why? Because now they're using shale oil production and shale gas in America. They're just slicing the earth away. There are lots of externalities there, because earthquakes cause, doesn't it? They're slicing away the earth of shale, and they're getting a lot more oil and gas than they ever thought was possible. And there are other technologies coming in, as we know, renewables and so on, wind and so on. So the production of energy is not coming to an end, as far as I can see. It's changing because technology can deal with it. However, the natural resources of the world are being crushed in this process over a period of decades and generations. I don't think it's exhausted yet. We've seen that in agriculture. We can intensively cultivate it with various new ways, with genetically modified foods and crops, which have a fusion. It doesn't matter about the externality, but it increases the level of production. So it's not the case, it seems to me, that the world is grinding to a halt production-wise. If that was the reason. The reason it's been slowing down is because profitability is so low, investment is therefore being reduced, and capitalists are just not finding it profitable to reduce more, prefer to speculate on the stock market and make things or produce services that people need, particularly in the poorer countries. So if there is a slowing down, it's more to do with Marx's law, in my view, than to do with the fact that we're physically running out of the ability to exploit natural resources more effectively.
Can I just remark from you, that's actually fairly closely connected to the tendencies that lead to profit to fall, because Marx listed a whole lot of things that would stop profit falling over the short term, and one of the ones that came top of this was environmental costs were treated as zero, and that enabled profit to be made. So this is the next period.
I just see you were talking about back in F waves and non-waves there, and every major crisis has happened on the downswing of one of those, from 1873, 93, the Great Depression, 74's great stagflation through to now. And it's always required, I generally agree that it's always required political, military and economic causes for a long boom, 25 years or whatever. Now, since 73, 74, and I've seen it there with the profit rate that you were showing as well, there has been no long wave upswing. Would you agree that it would need to be a combination of those factors for another one to pull the capitalist economy out of really a serious slump that's lasted since the 70s that it hasn't recovered from? And something else I just wanted to ask you is that Marx was the first economist to identify that the turnover of plant and equipment as a basis for the business cycle, and the business cycles lasted 7 to 12 years from the 17th century really up until the Second World War, where it went down to 4 to 6 years. And obviously, there's far more rapid turnover of plant and equipment. Its technical obsolescence is far quicker, and Marx had pointed to this as a contradiction, is the fact that it's been produced to be more durable, so that there's less depreciation costs per unit, but at the same time, obviously it's replaced all the more quickly. It's went back apparently to 7 to 12 years. Would you know why? Would you have any idea why that would be?
Well, let me deal with that second question you raised, because I don't know the answer later. The first question was, if we're going to get out of the slump. You look at that. I'm predicting that we're going into another big slump in the next 2 years. As I said, if you wind back to 2019, it hasn't happened. You can put the book in the bin, because there's obviously something wrong with it. But that's a prediction. But does that mean it goes on forever? No. You can see there are cycles here. And that will be the bottom of, how many is it? The 4th K cycle? And we'll go into a 5th cycle, and then we'll be into the spring. That would only happen if there was such a severe slump with it. It got rid of a load of costs and debt, which still weigh down capitalism, closing down the old industries, old factories, bankruptcies, replacement, mergers, laying off whole layers of workers that have only just been laid off back in 2008 again, because now we're heading up to that 8 to 12 period when you have another slump on a cycle. And so it will be a major slump again. Perhaps we'll see it's as great as a recession, I can't tell you. But it will be so big that it will create the conditions for new profitability to rise if nothing happens. If workers sit and take it because they have no choice or because they can't fight, there is no permanent crisis for capitalism. If workers don't change the mode of production, replace this mode of production with a different one based on common ownership and unification, labour and cooperative power, and democratically, then the process will continue. It will get worse, but it won't disappear. It won't collapse of its own thing. Marx never said it would collapse. He says there's no permanent crisis. There's this cycle going on. It's getting worse because we saw in that graph that the secular tendency is down. But there's ups and downs. It will come up again. And what will it be based on this time? We're using robots, employing them big time, all the new technologies at home, nanotechnology, genetic, loads of technologies. What happened after the Second World War, all the technologies that were developed during the military war were converted into civilian production and used to take the economy forward with new levels of profitability. That's what will happen after 2018 or into the 2020s, in the spring. And so you would have a relative rise. And as I head into the distant future of God's science, I will be watching the rise of capitalism again. And I'll be predicting the rise of capitalism, which won't be so popular in left meetings. So that if this schema is correct, then there is no permanent slump. There is no permanent crisis. Things will come out of it. However, the cycles will still continue, and they will be more intense, particularly with robots, because robots means less labour being used relative to robots. If Marx's law is correct, and there'll be less value created, and profitability relative to robots will begin to decline. Can robots replace human beings? Well, there's an argument amongst the futurists about this. Let's just say they can. Robots can make robots that make robots that make robots that make robots that make things. No human beings involved. We're all sitting here contemplating our neighbours. Now, before you get to that point, if you think about it, if workers aren't doing anything, there's no value created, Marx said. There's no value created, there's no profit. If you have a capitalist system, and you have a system where there's only robots and there's no profit, that's not a capitalist system. It's gone. It's a different system, if you like. We just have slaves which are metal objects or algorithms. And we have a proletariat sitting around the Roman Empire, twiddling their thumbs, waiting for the next event organised by Julius Caesar, King Lions and so on, and being paid a pittance to keep going. Or, what it would need before that, in my view, is you'd have a series of major slumps because there'd be no profitability. Capitalism would never get to that point before there'd be a series of major crises which would have to be dealt with. Human beings could not continue with that situation before we got to robots, making robots, making robots, making robots. It's a theoretical possibility, but it's probably very unlikely, assuming it was possible. At the moment, if I have got another lecture, you can do that with us. Robots aren't doing that well, actually. They're not that great. Certainly wouldn't be doing serving the sort of fantastic latte I had at this small cafe. Okay. I'm sure it would spill all over here. At the moment, robots are not very good at that sort of thing. So there's still a long way to go. So there's still a few jobs left for us, even if it's just serving lattes to each other. So the crisis won't come to an end. There'll be another cycle, whether it's 8 or 12 years due to the turnover of fixed capital. Very difficult to judge. In my Great Recession book, I estimated in the US about 60 years, actually, because that was going to be the turnover of length of capital. But as you say, to use a Marxist phrase, the moral depreciation, speeding up of the depreciation of technology makes sense a bit short. But that's a technical issue. But if we look at these periods, we can see the waves of profit tend to be about 16 to 18 years. Within that, you get actually quite a few slumps. From 1997, we had 2001, and then of course the big one, unfortunately, we've got another one to come, 3 years. In 1982, we only had 1990, because it was an up period. In the 1946-65, we only had 1958. Hardly any slumps in these up periods. But 1965-22, we had 74, we had a big one in 79, to 82, which lasted a long time, it was a really good one. So the slumps tend to be in down periods, I think my explanation is.
Michael, have you any predictions to make about the US economy under President elect Trump?
Yes, if you read my blog, which I'm sure you've read this week, you'll see that I've made a number of posts on the question of Trumponomics, as I'm calling it. Now the Donald is not very clear what he's doing, so it's a bit difficult to judge, but let me try to draw it away from what the Donald thinks he's going to do and what's actually happening to the US economy. Before the Donald was elected, the US economy, in my view, was slowing down significantly. Profits, as we've seen, were down to zero, investment was falling. The economy, in my view, according to JP Morgan 2, is heading towards a new recession. And whoever was president, in my view, probably won't make much difference to that. Politicians generally don't pay much difference to what happens to economies. They just propagandize about what's happening. But let's just argue for the moment that something could be done. Because the Keynesians spend a lot of time trashing. Are convinced that if we do certain things, we can turn a capitalist economy around. The Keynesians believe that capitalism can be saved by the correct policies. What's wrong is that we've had insane policies by neoliberal politicians who've been cutting everything, cutting spending, doing this, privatising all the rest of it. If you only had to use Joseph Stiglitz, he's a famous Nobel Prize winner, economist, he said, what's wrong is that the rules of the game have been changed. We need to reverse the rules back so that they're in favour of the population and not in favour of the capitalists. Capitalists are destroying the economy because they've changed the rules of the game. I always think that, I was like, well, no, actually what we need to do is change the game altogether. It doesn't matter what the rules are. The rules are in favour of the capitalists always. The idea that you can save capitalism by different policies is something we can debate continually. That's is in my view wrong. The Keynesians say that if we cut interest rates to zero and we get the central bank to print as much money as possible, the economy will go up. We've been doing that for 6 years or so. Now they're saying what we need to do is government needs to spend our huge budget deficits, we need a big infrastructure program, let's build roads and bridges that are badly needed, let the government print the money to do it, and then we'll have a boom, like we did in the 1930s. Well, actually, we didn't have a boom in the 1930s, that's another matter. It's a myth of the Keynesians. Roosevelt never did what the Keynesians told him anyway. But leaving that aside, I'm getting off the subject maybe. The point is that Donald is saying something similar to the Keynesians, that we now need to have a big spending program on bridges, roads, communications, and this will employ a load of people and matter. At the same time, we need to cut the taxes of all those poor corporations who are suffering severely under heavy taxation in Europe. Cut them to the streets. And at the same time, we need to stop these Mexicans pouring across the border, taking poor American, white American workers' jobs, although apparently Mexican immigration has fallen in the last 3 years. And we need to build walls around them. And then we need to stop the Chinese sending all these cheap goods that we've just bought on Black Friday by introducing a 40% tariff, so that all the prices of all the goods that people want in America go up 40%. That's like a great idea. And that way we'll get more jobs for those people in the rust belts of Minnesota, Milwaukee, Pennsylvania, and Pittsburgh who've got quite rightly got no jobs, or Michael Moore says in Flint, and nothing happens for 30 years.
I've got a question, but also I want to just give it the registration form around again, just encourage people to put their emails on for the Radical Education Forum, because these are sort of discussions we have, obviously in a smaller form, but if you want more sort of education and discussion about these sort of matters, then please put your name down, because I doubt if there's any too many other places where you can get that sort of information, and also tools to try and bring the system down, obviously, which is very, very important for all of us. So I'd encourage you to put your details on. So I'll just throw around the I know some of you signed up, I know some people have, so I'll just throw it around again. Okay. Thanks. My question is, as far as the Irish economy is concerned, obviously not Northern Ireland, but the Irish economy is concerned, Any feelings about the what they had that whole thing with Apple? Any sort of or feelings about how the Irish economy is growing at the moment?
Okay, well, Irish capital, the Irish bourgeois, it's a small country, Ireland, if you want to, it's even smaller up here, but the Irish economy is small, the Irish population is small, it's smaller than Greece. Greece took a pounding. So Ireland is a small economy. What was the solution of the Irish capitalists? The solution of the Irish capitalists, because they had one quite good advantage, but there are a couple of advantages, back, say, when the Celtic Knight took off. The advantages they had was they spoke English, which is quite a big advantage, particularly with American investors and American companies. And they had a reasonably educated workforce, which didn't apply to, say, Portugal, such as Greece, can't speak English, such a high level of English speaking and education. And to begin with, Irish workers were pretty cheap. So we had a big American multinational investment in there. And the other thing that they did was the Irish bourgeois said, well, look, you come over here, you employ our people as much as you could do, you employ our people, you make the profits, and you keep the profits. We're not going to tax you. You can take it home, you can do whatever you like with it. The tax is going to be as low as we can possibly get away with without the European Union is jumping all over us, which they don't really do. And we can even have a few little secret with drugs and Apple, you don't even pay anything at all. And that was a powerful weapon for incentivising American capital. It would have come anyway for other reasons, because it's a way into the European Union. It's an English-speaking population, relatively small, reasonably educated, and cheap to begin with compared to the kids on the whole. At those days, anyway, things have changed. But, so that was their advantage. That was their unique advantage for the American Irish capital. And it worked for a while. It worked for a while, but then, of course, you know what? There's a world out there. Global capitalism doesn't work all the time. It goes into down periods where it goes into slumps. The Irish politicians didn't create the Great Recession. Irish capital didn't cause the Great Recession. The Irish politicians took their money out of the gravy train. They took their bribes. The property developers took their bribes. The banking executives took their bribes. But everybody was doing that. I think particularly the Irish have a particularly good way of doing that. But on the whole, everybody was doing it. Ireland didn't implode because of the Irish greed of the politicians. It imploded because the world imploded. Greece didn't implode because of Greek bourgeois never paying their taxes, salting their money away, being corrupt. That's going on. The world imploded in 2007, and Ireland took the hit like the rest. And Ireland took a big hit because its banks were so overloaded, it was unbelievable. We had the City of London and the UK economy's banks, international banks all over the world, had assets equivalent to 800% of annual GDP in the UK. Unbelievable. The US is 250. So the banking centre of the UK is top heavy. I describe it as an aircraft carrier sitting in the River Thames. People go in the morning, cross the bridge, work, come out again, and the aircraft carrier can float off and never touch the sides of Britain. There's this huge, great banking assets, debt. If something goes wrong, those banks have to be bailed out by the UK government, and yet they're 800% of GDP. What was the Irish banking system? 1,000% of GDP. I don't know how many banks, the pillar banks as they're called in the south, about 3 of them. We know one of them was completely corrupt. And even the Irish government had to consider prosecuting that one. But basically they're all bust. So what happened was that the European Central Bank said to Irish politicians, your banks are bust. But do you know why? What that means is that all the bonds that the banks have issued to us Germans and us French banks and others who have been investing in the Irish banking system, the Irish economy, will lose their money. You have got to pay every single euro to our French and German banks and friends 100%. And we'll give you the money to pay them. So the ECB gave, and the European system gave some of the money to the Irish, but on the whole, the Irish had to finance it themselves through a massive tax increase, which has burdened the Irish economy dramatically, driven it down to sort of Ireland has reached the bottom as it bailed out its top-heavy banking system and has now slowly recovered. The property market has come back. I don't know, you know better than me if you've still got all those thousands of empty houses in the south, conversated places where people are trying to go.
They bought by New York Vulture.
Yeah, they've all been bought by vulture companies and rented out again. But gee, this is called capitalism, by the way. You cleanse out the system, you get rid of the old owners, and you introduce new owners that's cheaper, and they can make a profit out of it because the prices plummeted and they could make a big profit out of it. And that's that process now. Ireland, the Irish people have been working flat out, and as a result, they managed to slowly trees up and cuts and tax increases to get the thing slowly coming up. And according now, I saw figures. Can you believe this? Even we fell off our seats back in the city of London last year when Ireland in the third quarter, or was it the second quarter this year, had a 20% decrease in GDP. In one quarter, what's going on? All that would happen, it was just an accounting thing, talking about that, was all the American companies' profits suddenly being included in the figure for one quarter. And so it appeared that the Irish economy was 20% richer, and all Irish people were 20% richer. Of course, all American companies were 20% richer, not paying any tax on it, and they hadn't repatriated. As soon as they repatriated, it disappeared from the figures again. So we have, as far as I can see, in November 2016, we have an Irish economy which is still not back for the average Irish household to the same level it was in 2008. Unemployment down, but still not back to those levels. I don't know how many left. It is 80,000 Irish people did the usual thing, left the country. Some of them may be coming back. That always helps. Latvia, by the way, transformed themselves by 1/3 of the population leaving and ending up doing our plumbing in London. That is, some small countries can do that. Ireland used to do that all the time. It did it a little bit this time. And the government continues with the policy of low or no tax for corporations investing in it, and it hopes to crawl out in the same model as before. So that this is a small economy. Irish capital adopted that approach. It's worked to some extent in the last 30 years, and it's had this hit. It's crawling up with the same model. The population continues to pay for this, and it's continuing to pay for it, and it's only just got off the bottom. Am I right? A reasonable opinion? You guys probably know better than me.
Yes, you're right. The other thing is that the policy of transnational investment started as the investment in manufacturing capital, but now it's moved towards money laundering.
Yeah, big time. Yeah. Thanks.
Top three, England North. Wait,
Just to follow on from the point you made about the Irish and the field of diaspora making things like better for capitalism. You mentioned in your book the example of the Irish being as like a pressure valve for capitalism. You also referred to the net decrease in immigration into Spain as having a similar effect.
Yeah.
We also take the pressure off. Could you explain how that happens? Because it seems counterintuitive to Marxist ideology, because we know that as there are more unemployed workers, there's a tendency actually to drive wages down and then kind of increase the profitability.
Yeah, well, when you've got massive unemployment, if say 20% of your unemployed leave the country, that takes the social pressure off the capitalist on welfare and use tax revenues. Well, they don't lose tax revenues because nobody's working, but they get rid of a lot of welfare costs there. That unemployment figure disappears. We don't, those workers aren't needed. They quite often usually are young people, either students or people who have got lost jobs or can't get jobs and they leave the country. So that also politically is useful because quite often those are the people who probably complain the most, they leave. So that has an effect. But as you say, what that actually can do is give a bit more bargaining power to the rest if the unemployment figure is full, but not straight away, because unemployment is still, like Spain's still 20% plus unemployment. I don't know what the figures are, I don't think it's back to where it was before. I could be wrong. UK is nearly back to where it was before. That's because other reasons, we can discuss the UK economy, but the impact then of that safety valve is very useful if you can do it in a small country, in turning things around. And again, it's a way of cleansing the system out of people that can't be employed and creating a new situation. But it does, if it continues, then the pressure for the labour movement, sorry I'm nearly boring you, but I'll finish soon, could lead to a bit more wage push, but I see none. No, is that the point you're making, or have I missed the point?
No, I think that's kind of what it is. It's just, again, when I read it was counterintuitive, I thought we needed more. If it's a safety valve, that means things will get better for the company. But people leaving, I didn't see how that.
But if there's a brain drain, like the best people, that can make it more difficult. Productivity falls. Irish productivity is appalling. Productivity is the measure of the amount of product per worker per hour, which is very important to everybody. Capitalists do. If you're more efficient, you can produce more in less time. That's very important. The sort of productivity is falling. If your 80,000 Irish people are all educated people who can do a lot of good jobs, and the others who have not left are people who don't have any skills and basically can only put the chairs away, then you're not going to boost the productivity of the economy very much, and that's the risk you take. But in the short term, it's to the advantage of the capital.
Can I just say I've got three people want to speak. So, do people think I should close the question at that point, and then, or is there other people who want to ask questions? So that's 4. I'm counting already, so that's 4. So about 4, I'll take those 4, and then make it sum up. Is that right?
Is it okay if we take one by one? I'm not boring you yet.
No.
You want to have all in one go?
In order to say, I'll somebody to answer that. Right, okay, so.
I can only last 20 minutes.
Next one. Yeah, in the back.
Does Brexit and the crisis around Greece, does that represent like a comprehensive failure of this project of European integration?
I should have read it. I wouldn't make that Brexit. This is a disaster for Irish capital. 50% of trade for Irish exports still into the UK. Investment into Ireland is also useful for further investment into the UK. The UK is outside of Europe and the EU. What that might entail, if it's what we call hard Brexit, then the Irish are in big trouble because they have tariffs against Irish goods. Can you imagine that? Irish butter won't go into the UK. Oh, sorry. These are in, I forget who your PM is at the moment down in south. Kenny, isn't it? Yeah, have a little secret discussion. I'll be all right. We'll sort you out. How do they know? They've got no idea. Because the EU's still got to negotiate. So it's a real issue. But Brexit in general, I think, is it's an indication of not only of the failure of the European Union to deliver for the majority of people. It's not just the Europeans, it's the failure of capitalism. I mean, capitalism has not delivered to a whole swathe of working people, particularly since 2008. Yeah, we've just seen on the inequality figures, the top 10%, the top 1% of people recovered. And I just gave you the figures. 65% of households have had no improvement in their incomes from work in 8 years. And according to the UK figures, it is the UK because of the devaluation of inflation, there'll be no improvement for another 5 or 6 years. So you have 15 years. Where you've had basically the same real income. You're just treading water. And the jams are really under pressure because of the situation of getting decent jobs that last, but not on temporary contracts, but not on 0 hours contracts. All these sorts of things. All this has happened in the last 8 years. There's real pressure on a whole layer of the working class and the middle class. I mean, I can go into the countryside of England, and one of the figures that comes out of England or the UK was the biggest increase in employment. It's not because unemployment in the UK is dropped, but is it dropped because everybody's getting a nice, good job? Apart from people working just in shops and everything else, the biggest increase in employment is in self-employment. It's in people sitting in the countryside or in a flat, in their pyjamas, on the computer, claiming they've got a business that they sell, get contracts to, whatever it might widget with a thing on it, and they put it on the online, they've got a website. They're trying to make a living this way, and the self-employed average income is something way down from the permanent full-time job. The vast majority of these self-employed people who are out in the countryside, wherever they are, and there's hundreds of thousands of them in the UK, who claim to be, no, the bourgeois and the press, they're all fantastic, you know. The gig economy, do you know that phrase? Yeah. The gig economy, you know, people out there contracting, making a business for themselves. They're not making any money at all. They're struggling desperately on the edge. These are the people who voted for Brexit. These are the people who were told the problem is either the immigrants are taking their jobs, although most of the people who voted for Brexit were in areas where there aren't any immigrants. So it's usually the fear. Which is the biggest area that voted to stay in the European Union? Which had the biggest immigration? London. Massive majority of Romania. A massive immigration of cosmopolitan population of all sorts. All the young people, black, white, Polish, everybody, mixed up together, they all voted, on the whole voted Remain. The areas that voted Brexit in the UK were rich southerners in big farms who still, like we do here, wave the Union Jack and say imperialism's the best thing that ever happened since sliced bread, and we want to return to that to get rid of all these garlic-eating frogs. Now, that's an exaggeration because they've all got summer houses in the south of France. The fact is that there's that element, and then there's all this sway that people are talking about in various small towns across the middle of England who've got nothing for the last 30 years, the same as where they are, and they think it's partly due to immigration, and partly due to European Union, which is a shitty, bureaucratic organisation with a free market policy that tries to destroy the ability of labour to organise. Yet it has some rules which have helped the trade unions, like 48-hour week and environmental regulations. So these small businesses are faced with regulations which they think is the fault of the European Union. Actually, the UK is the most deregulated economy in Western Europe. There's hardly any regulation. Anybody can set up a business. There's no safety conditions. It's all going. Trump will get rid of the ones in America, and we'll get rid of some more here under Brexit, so that we can have people can just kill themselves and kill other people doing businesses and no controls. Regulations are really good. European regulations haven't really done anything, but that's what people believe. There was a post-Brexit radio show. The radio presenter said to 3 people, why did you vote Brexit? After they got through the immigration, because none of them lived in here as they ever met anything. I said, well, why did you vote Brexit? Because of the EU regulations. So the radio presenter said, well, name one EU regulation you didn't like. They don't know any EU regulations. They don't know what they are. They don't know what the UK Parliament ones, they don't even know what they are. So it was just that idea. But they had enough. Enough of this. Enough of the bureaucrats, the European Unions. So I think it's a condemnation of capitalism. It's expressed in the European Union thing, just like the Greek struggle was expressed too, in that way. And now we see in America, where it's expressed the same sorts of people voting for Trump, because it supposedly is going to change this situation where it is, although of course Trump didn't actually win probably very well.
Okay, 3 more.
Oh yeah, just you touched on earlier how there was certain Marxist economists who took issue with your rate of profit then crisis. I just want to know if you could go into that a bit more.
And in the book I go into it. So you have an opportunity for me to publicise one chapter of the book. Everything's in the book, my version is the whole of the world is in the book. Theory, ideas, proof. Anyway, in this chapter, there is a little chart which shows you what the left think is the cause of crisis. It's done by the San Francisco group of Marx capital readers. They sat down and they looked at a little chart, like, you know those flow charts? Yes or no, which way you go. And at the top, basically, the argument is, do you think capitalism can be reformed and you can get it to work? Yes or no? So those people say yes, you do it, and then you go to the other side. So what's the cause? Why can't capitalism work? The cause of crisis is because workers can't buy all the goods that capitalists produce. It's under consumption. That's one. And the second one is capitalists produce more blindly than people can buy. That's overproduction, personally.
I've always been struck by how overproduction and underconsumption are distinct.
They're not, in my view,
Yeah, they are.
because this is, I just spent a very important weekend with a load of academic Marxists, thank God I'm here, in which I had to debate this over and over again about why I thought overproduction and overconsumption were the same thing. This continues, by the way, in my blog next week. You'll be glad to hear. I'm way through the debate with a number of other eminent Marxists who are trying to trash my position again. I should do my best to trash theirs as well. Anyway, there's underconsumption, overproduction, and then there's financial instability. Financialisation is the big financial sector. It's all out of control. This is what causes the crisis. Nothing to do with profitability. Profitability is actually rising extremely. How could that cause a crisis? So it's to do with financial instability, it's to do with underconsumption, it's to do with reduction, it's to do with basically anarchy. Capitalism is an anarchic system. They're always competing against each other. There's no control. This causes instability and crashes. Now you can see there's a germ of truth in all these things. We can discuss whether that germ adds up to a theory. But just to finish, my view, and is a minority view. One of these other theories, particularly the underconsumption one, is the dominant.
And before the next question, you can get me straight for that. Very good. Yeah.
So what's the alternative? You know,
Oh, we can let you speak.
you talk about the challenge for capitalism being inequality, and I don't believe there is any challenges for it. The only challenge for capitalism is to keep regenerating the profit. It's the bottom line.
That's true.
So, you know, we always look at Marxists, I believe, are too concerned about analysing capitalism and determining that view, instead of providing an alternative model for economists. You know, we're always looking at the dim light at Keynesian economics, but they've developed their own aggregate demand and tax multiplier and the rest. But Marxists, for me, do not provide an alternative model to go against capitalism. There's no ideological struggle today against capitalism. Probably the only ideological struggle today is Islam, and that madness that's going on there. So the bottom line for me today, trying to put our integrity in the likes of people and institutions and diagrams and all this kind of thing, it just doesn't work for me today. You know, there is no integrity in these things. When you have the likes of tax havens that are placed out overseas and all this lack of transparency, the bottom line for me today is just a redistribution of income. There's money, you know, there is money, but it's been channeled elsewhere. It's been put into different places and different things. You know, it's the distribution of income has to happen, and it's trying to force that through. But for me, I think the forces that are up against that are too strong. You know, I voted out in Brexit, and immediately I was able to race. You know, that kind of thing. But my nature and understanding of the EU system is different than a lot of people who generally do that.
Yeah.
You know, so to go against the ideology that's in place today, and it's a distraction for people on the outside, it's too much. So what is the alternative? That's what I'm trying to find.
Oh, yeah. At least 5 different points there. All very good ones. I don't know if I can handle them. I'll try. Is there an alternative? Look, Marxists give us a lot of stuff about grass and so on and show the whole thing's a mess, but they have no alternative. I think that was one of the points in a sort of a way. All right? When I went to the American Economics Association annual conference last year in Boston, they had at the conference 12,000 people. This is all the economists of Europe and America. And they had 2,000 papers presented in rooms like this, with students and graduate students and lecturers running in between each meeting. And at the big Nobel Prize mainstream was had 2,000 people in a hall listening to them speak. And then there's what we call the Union of Radical Political Economists, which also have a series of sessions, which have 20 people, we are, exactly like an Irving meeting, we call it, with the speaker. And, but they have one meeting where the Marxist radically political economists present papers, and the audience is composed of the mainstream economists. And they comment on our papers. Good. Meeting of minds. Okay, well, the reason I'm raising this rather long reply is because one of the economists in the audience, mentioned, was called Brad DeLong, and he's a big name in mainstream economics, a Keynesian economist at the University of Berkeley, California, and he has a blog. I recommend you read it if you're interested in that sort of thing. And he was discussing our papers. I understand this paper. Crisis, depression. So Bragg gets up. He said 2 other papers. He gets up and he says, well, I've heard of Marxists didn't tell me one thing about actually what was in the papers. The trouble with Marxists is that they are like waiting for Godot. Anyone waiting for Godot? Samuel Beckett's book? They're waiting for the end of the world, and it's never coming. I'm getting on with sorting out the world and changing it, while you Marxists are waiting for Godot. So, leaving aside the question of whether that's true or not, in a way, you're sort of implying you get us all this stuff. And anyway, probably your data's wrong because of tax havens and everything. Maybe profits aren't going down. Okay, we can argue that. But basically, you're saying that capitalism is a mess, but you provide me no alternative. All we've got out there is ISIS destroying the world. So what's the left? What's the Marxist alternative? Well, I don't know if the rest of the room might be able to help on this, but clearly the alternative is to get rid of the capitalist mode of production and to replace it with a system of common ownership under democratic control, which uses the resources of the world in a sustainable and ecological way to meet the needs of people and not the profits of a small group of owners of capital, which are getting smaller and smaller due to rising inequality. That's the alternative. Oh, okay. That's not very helpful. How do we get the alternative? The big question. Well, Marx would say, look, there is a force out there that can change the world. And it's a force that doesn't own capital. It doesn't have anything but its ability to sell its daily power. It's black, it's white, it speaks different languages, different ages, different issues. But one thing it does have in common, it has to make a living by working. Or it has to be paid for by other people working. And then, majority. Well, working class has disappeared in Britain. There's no industrial workers there. There's no Harlem involved. It's all gone. Everybody just works in small factories, pressing buttons. So there's no working class. It's all dissipated into gig, self-employed people. Yeah, well, okay, there's an argument to say, but that's not the case out in China. That's not the case across Asia. Actually, the urban proletariat, the industrial proletariat, is much, much larger than it was 50 years ago. It's way bigger, but it's not here. It's in other countries, and they have struggles. There's no factories with 10,000 workers anymore. Harlem Wolf's what got? 200? Not 50,000? Yeah, but out in China, there are 50,000 workers in a factory, all doing Foxconn's Apple machines for them. So, the old proletariat does exist. And even the proletariat such as it is now may have taken a different form, but it's not disappeared. Now, my view is, which is a lot of view of Marx 150 years ago, was that is the force for change, because it has a common interest to get rid of this current mode of production. The bourgeois had a force for change to get rid of the feudal system and establish the capitalist system. They did it with the help of a budding working class, otherwise they couldn't have done it because there's only a few of them. But now we are the majority. We've always been the majority. We're aware of that consciousness. Third point is, yeah, but where the fuck are you going to get this consciousness from? Well, I'm afraid that's what we'll have to think about every day and work out what we're going to do. I don't know necessarily all the answers to the question. I'm doing I'll be dead probably before we see it change, but we have seen sometimes progress and sometimes big setbacks. But what this is the peak is that it's not going to go away. The class struggle exists, in my view. It's going to continue. It will take different forms and it will take different levels of intensity. Now, my contrastive thing, if we're in a summer, okay. So which are the revolutionary periods in my Great Recession? I may argue that the summers are the revolutionary periods. That's when things can really change. So workers are strong, and the capitalists are getting weaker. All the other periods don't fit that bill. So just throwing back my stats, sorry about that. But where are we now? A winter. Then we have a spring. So the next summer, I was thinking about it in bed last night, is 2036 onwards, I think I'm sick. Most of you will be, if you haven't already got top bellies, certainly like mine. So it's actually the kids being born in the last 5 or 6 years onwards who could be the revolutionaries in the future. And what jobs will they be doing? Will they be industrial proletariat? Where will they be? We can have a look. And that's my alternative, opposed to ISIS.
Can I just add something in there? I think it's very important. When you discuss ideas, you must not forget that they have a material base. When I joined the socialist movement, there was a USSR, there was a non-capitalist countries all across Eastern Europe, there was revolutionary currents in all of the Third World, and there was a giant social democratic party in Britain. And all those things failed. They didn't fall automatically. There was a battle and the capitalists won. So we're at a point where there has to be an hour battle, and part of that battle is what Michael's doing, which Marx described as ruthless criticism of all that exists. That's basically, you try and explain the society we're living in, and you try and fasten on the concrete things that are really there. Then you can really think about how to do things. But if you're not sure what's happening, you're really not going to do anything. There's one last speaker, and a questioner, right? He's forgotten the questioner. Before you ask, I'm going to ask Michael to throw up my advert.
Oh yeah,
okay.
I hope I'm not going off the subject of anything, but one of the things about depressions is the increase in rivalry between different capitalist powers and that. Is that dealt with? At the moment now we have massive investment in armament, and the NATO practicing nuclear war on Russian borders, practicing nuclear war in the China Sea. You have the American police forces being militarized with battlefield weapons, for class war basically. So they actually believe in class war. But I mean, that seems to be a much more immediate impact on people in terms of whether there is a recession, the reaction of the capitalist class, the increasing the danger of war, and actually behaving like that war with their own population. That seems to be more immediate in terms of effect on people's consciousness.
Well, what you're talking about here, of course, in the case of war within a state, like the repression of the police in America against particularly black people, working people, and the militarization of the police into a force. The police has always been a force designed to protect property and to separate robbers from those who own property, and keep order so that capitalism work. But militarizing the police in the way Americans is a particularly extreme example. It's to do with the history of American imperialism, basically South being slave-owning economy for 150 years, which has left a streak of racism through American bourgeois, and it's obviously had an effect upon generally the population, population as well. Difference, if you think about it in the north side of Belfast, but in London we have, there's been racism, we know, it's in the 80s, Brixton riots, Scotland riots, there's racism, there's conflict between black and white. But it's way less. And integration in London is much better. Black and white people can go down the street hand in hand, they can get married. In America, that is still no on the whole. You never see that in America movie, do you? Blacks with the whites, mother with the whites there. And this streak of racism exists. That's an American peculiarity due to the peculiarity, I think, of the American capital, where it developed from a slavery economy in the South into a fully fledged capitalist economy. On a world scale, I mean, just to finish on this question of getting out of the crisis. Getting out of the crisis, some people tell me, the only way getting out of the crisis is a world war. That's what happened in the 1930s with the World War. And that put capitalism on the front. That's possible. I think it's unlikely, because it's much more dangerous now for capital to resort to a world war. I mean, the Americans, the Donald, launching missiles against China, I don't think would be a solution that capital would be favourable, really. I think that would be bad for business, as he used to say, so that I don't think that's going to be a solution, and therefore it's unlikely. All accidents can still happen, but I think it's unlikely. More likely, the depression will be lengthened as it was in the late 19th century, because there was no system through war, because war was very effective at doing that. It destroys old capital, destroys workers too, and you get them cheaper afterwards. But it's going to be a long depression, a slump will have to be significantly deep to turn things around. But it was turned around in the 19th century. Later on in the previous war, as capitalism recovered, then the battle for colonies began. As we've seen, if capitalism recovers like into the 2020s, then we could see a battle between the old powers, the US, Europe, Japan, and China, for control of the world's economy. That's still to come. I don't necessarily take the war